I'm not looking at pressure, I'm mainly looking at workovers, like things that have already been done. Yeah, and it is intensive, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Is this making sense to you guys when we're talking like technical stuff? Yes? No? Okay.
That's only just two aspects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A big thing about the oil and gas industry is it's really heavy in industry-related jargon. So, and this is something that you'll pick up if you switch to this major and you start taking these classes, is you'll wake up one day and you'll realize that you're speaking the language. And you'll be like, what happened? How did I get here?
And there's so many acronyms too.
Oh.
That they love acronyms. So many acronyms. Yeah, so-
Yeah.
My name's Daisy. So what about the cleanup side of it?
Oh, if there's a spill or something? Okay, so I can actually answer that kind of.
Go for it.
So, a couple of years ago, I did a report on the Deepwater Horizon incident, which is the big BP oil spill that everyone knows about. So, the oil that landed in the Gulf, a big part of the cleanup was actually kind of just scooping it up, honestly. And it sounds a little oversimplified, but that's exactly what it was, is they just went out in boats with vacuums, or they scooped it up and isolated in one spot and then contained it that way. Another thing is that now this is just from what I've read, I don't know if this is exactly true or if it is to what scale it happened, but I had read that there's naturally occurring bacteria that breaks down oil in the Gulf of Mexico. So when all the oil spilled, it was a feedstock to this bacteria. So its population grew exponentially, and it helped. Like, it didn't get rid of all of it, obviously, but it helped a lot with cleaning it up in that sense, getting rid of it. And then when all the oil was gone, it had nothing to eat, so it just died out. But petroleum engineers don't really deal with, we don't talk about the cleanup a lot, at least in the academic sense, because especially we're just trying to do everything we can to not get to that point, to make sure that there isn't a spill, in a sense. It is very important though, but I think there's other people outside of petroleum engineering who are able to do that. And just, that also leads me to another good point, is that the oil and gas industry does not just run on petroleum engineers. Petroleum engineers are just one small part of oil and gas. They'll take mechanical, chemical, every single kind of engineer that you can probably think of, there's a place for them in oil and gas, for the most part. So it would probably be someone else's job to deal with the cleanup.
Yeah, they have a whole department, HSE, health, safety, and environmental. I unfortunately have never been involved in developing a plan for a worst case discharge and stuff like that. I've only calculated how much oil can spill. Worst case, the government requires, for a Gulf of Mexico offshore, the government requires you to do this calculation to prepare for the worst possible outcome. So you have to calculate your worst case discharge, right? So if I just drilled a hole in the ground and I didn't set anything, I have no equipment, how much oil can come out from this particular hole? And then that's where I stop, and then I hand it over to the HSE guys and then develop a plan to a remediation plan to kind of remediate all of that stuff. So.
Here's the thing, when we mess up big time.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, like, that's the thing, is you hear about the big problems, and what's really neat is, like I said, what was really nice to hear when I first started here is that they drill into you safety and environmental regulation. There is no class that the number one rule is not safety or environmental regulation. And there are really neat new technologies out there to kind of deal with these situations that actually came out of probably the McConnell incident. Not that that was a good thing, but I'm just saying that, like, there's been some really cool advances in cleanup technology. So.
Any other questions?
Do you guys, so you three, do you have any experience in the work field as an intern wise, or do you see yourself in one of like the big bigger companies, or like where is your vision leading?
Like I said earlier, if I had it my way, which will not happen, I don't care who you are, unless you have family like I hear a lot of you guys do, which is that's how you get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
Talk to your family, exploit that aspect. But I like it all, I'll be really honest with you. I know that sounds disingenuous probably because I'm up here speaking to you all about this, but to be honest with you, I like all the aspects of petroleum engineering. It's also part of being an older student. I can find the good and bad in any situation. You know, I'll be happy to learn what I can, and, you know, I currently work out of the Enhanced Oil Recovery Lab, and it's really cool work that we're doing with anionic surfactants for Shell. And, you know, it's really neat, and it's paid. and it's, what I originally wanted to do was offshore when I first came there. And after taking a bunch of different classes, my mind changed. I wanted to get into production. And then I took, you know, another course, and I'm like, wow, this is really neat. I like this.
What changed your mind between
You know,
offshore and
because there's
production?
cool things and cool problem solving in every class. I mean, don't limit yourself. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, if you're one of those people that focused in and said, this is what I want to do, blaze a trail for it. Take graduate level courses as your electives that benefit you in that field. You know, that way when you do get a job, you can say, well, I've taken X, Y, and Z. You know, I have a lot more experience than just a typical undergraduate must do. But it's really up to you and what you want to do. So.
There's actually, like, the event with SP, I think that if you guys, just like check on every organization, like SP or AADE, they bring a lot of people from industry, and you guys can ask them a lot of questions, because I know there's an event on Wednesday with four women from the oil and gas industry, from like Oxy, I don't remember the rest of them, but I think Oxy's one of them.
Oxy, Chesapeake,
Yeah.
subsurface,
Yeah.
fractions.
These are people who are currently working, so if you guys can come out, I think you guys can learn a lot from them too.
And in terms of like actually learning, we were involved in SP course,
Yep.
right? Yeah, so, you know, there's classroom knowledge and then, but a lot of the industry knowledge that you can gain is from joining organizations. And I know you guys have probably all been pitched the same type of thing within your own individual majors, but, you know, it overlaps between majors because it's very important. We have people come in from industry, and this is one of the really only insights you'll get into the working world that you'll be put into in 4 to 5 years in school. So it's really important to get out and just, you don't even have to become a member, just go to these events and just see what people have to say and what they're working on, so you have an idea of what to expect.
And after they talk, go up to them and like talk to them on a one-to-one basis. They're really happy to talk to you, and then if you ask for their email to like stay in contact, email them things like say, hey, I met you yesterday, I really enjoyed your presentation, and then connect with them on LinkedIn. And that's your, like, you just add someone to your network. It's really easy if you just go to events.
That's important.
I have one question. Since these freshman and sophomore level students, I'd like to ask y'all what are the type of classes, and you know, the key classes, the ones that are very tough and ones that are so unnecessary, things like that. Would like to share.
Overlap for me, my toughest course, to be honest with you, was reservoir engineering. I worked my butt off in that class, and interviewed less.
The one thing that I found is that different people pick up on different things in
Exactly
courses,
right.
because each courses are very different. Like, for instance, I didn't struggle in reservoir, but I struggled a lot in well logging. And other people have told me
Love
that
that
well,
class.
other people have told me that's the easiest class.
Exactly.
So, I don't mean to demean the nature of your question, but don't listen to anyone's advice when they say a class is easy, because it may be easy, but don't bank on it, because it could be very hard.
I love how they talk about a professor. Your
Yeah.
experience with professor is going to be completely different than another person.
Like, don't let people scare you. If it's hard for them, doesn't mean it's hard for you. Like, don't go in scared, because then you're gonna not perform your best. Go in with an open mind, and you're
Yeah.
gonna do well, believe me.
Exactly. The classes are not impossible. If they were impossible, then no one will get through it. So other people have done it before us,
Yeah.
and we've done it, and you guys will be able to do it.
You want to be able
How was your
to?
experience?
I have a
Yeah.
completely different take on that. To my chemical engineer buddies out there,
Quick process?
I wish you the best of luck in fluid mechanics and transfer phenomena. Good luck. And that's on it. With the petroleum engineering classes, I like them pretty much it, but just those two classes to chemical engineers out there. Have fun.
So basically, you know, petroleum is like all other, you know, degrees here in engineering, it's gonna be tough. It's
Mhm.
gonna have you, draw from your grades, because it's not always about who's smartest. It's
Yeah.
it's mostly about who really wants it. So don't shy away because of the work, it's gonna be the same everywhere you go. So hopefully we were able to answer most of your questions, of your concerns, and we are also able to convert some of you to, the other side.
Yeah, I hope we didn't scare anyone, because
Yeah.
I really, we're all here because we really enjoy what we're studying.
Yeah.
Or what we have studied,
Yeah.
it's good stuff, I like it.
If you see us on campus, you can stop
Yeah,
us.
for sure.
Please, yeah, talk to us.
Yeah, and don't feed into the bias of, petroleum engineers are, killing natures or killing, I mean,
not at all.
I haven't,
every job on earth has its risks and, downside. I mean, doctors sometimes make mistakes. Eventually, it happens. They don't give the proper treatment and the person dies. The risk is everywhere. So, yeah. If you have any other questions you'd like to talk to them personally, go ahead. I think they'll be here for a couple of minutes and sign the sheet for your extra credit. And thank you for coming.
good luck to you
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.